Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are you today? So, today we are going to be talking about this subject of diversity. We have been talking about management of goals in the Vuca environment, and I have been saying Vuca for me is Vuca D3, and that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And let me just put it up in the banner. Just give me a second. Yeah. Uh, so we are talking about the VUCA world, and the VUCA world is, as we know, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. In this environment of ours, I've added the three Ds because I realized that there is something more that has happened in the last 20, 30 years to VUCA world where diverse, disruptive, and digital have got added. So today we are talking of this one element out of all the uncertainties, all the complexities. We are today talking about diversity. And it is very important to understand how, as a leader, in managing my goals, I will manage my diverse environment that I am operating in. And we really have to first understand what is this diverse environment we are talking about. So I will be very happy to go through some of these things with you and say that diversity is a very complex subject. It is not a very simple subject. It supports and demands commitment of leadership. A leader has to be uh, absolutely committed to diversity, and not only him, but his entire team, the other executives, the management. Everyone has to look at one common policy, one common approach to diversity in their organizations. This is one of the management challenges of today when you are in a diverse environment, and diversity happens in many fields. It is not only diversity of uh, gender that people think about. It is gender, it is geographies and cultures, it is diversity of minds, diversity of ideas that people come, and ideologies. And these days, with all multinational things happening, and the borders having of geographical borders having melted in this online environment, and you have international teams, you need to also look at the regional diversities. So it is great when you are working in a global environment that you will look at all these angles and look at what the diversity means to you. So it's a tough job, but if you manage it well, the rewards are far more outweighing than just the challenges that you may talk about. I feel that if you want, as a good leader, you should actually be very clear about your performance indicators and have them put in your policies, in your training, so that people understand that not only at his level, but as managers, as team leaders, as members of the C suite, everyone in the organization must work and put in efforts which are measurable. You track progress and report on them regularly. What I personally feel is that many times these are only talked about in boardrooms and certain conferences and all, and then forgotten. You have to live diversity. You have to show examples, or demonstrate it. I would say not live, but demonstrate it in a way that people feel that it is not only being talked about, but it is being practiced. So let me take a little break to just see who all are there. It's very important to keep interacting with you all. So I find, as usual, Anil Goswami is there right from the beginning. In fact, I saw his comments even before we went live. So Anil Goswami says diversity focuses on inclusive development, uh, taking best talent from each, uniting various colors to the best flavors. Yes, that's very good. I agree with you totally. Uh, Sumeda saying hello. So thank you very much, Sumeda. I forgot to show you Anil Goswami. So he's here. Okay, good. So I can only see two names, but I see about seven people watching right now, but I don't have their names. So guys, please do put your name so we know who's there, and it is good to keep interacting. So I think we'll continue with what we are talking about. And so what I just said was define diversity for yourself. Know in your organization what does diversity mean for you, and please pay focused attention on it. Now, the once you have defined diversity, the second thing I feel is that you must get the top leadership on board, which means there should be ownership of diversity and build it in your organizational culture. I'm very fond of this uh, organizational culture part because I learned it in the Indian Army that one of the things corporates sometimes forget is that everything happens around an organization because of its organizational culture. And if your organizational culture is not strong enough, you will not get the type of results, even when you're putting in a lot of other effort. I'll explain this a little later, a little more in details. So you should make sure that while you at your level of leadership understand diversity and apply it in your day-to-day work, you should also make sure that your teams are with you on that. Everyone is aligned to the company's policy, company's organizational culture related to diversity. It is a very very core value, and this will make a big difference in the way you lead your teams. Okay, now a few tips that we'll see, or a few things that you can do. So first thing is that I think all people in your team must be treated equally. Now, whether it is gender, whether it is geographical, sometimes people get into this. Oh, he's a South Indian, he's a North Indian, he's a African, uh, he's a whatever. Every regional country, all that. No, you have to make sure, if you just filter that and say, are we going by performance or are we going by any other factors? Make performance and make attitude a very important part of your organization's driving culture, and that will make a lot of difference. So, when we are talking about being equal, which we should be very fair to everyone. We should know that whether it comes to salaries, increments, promotions, perks, uh, postings, everything, you have to be, in fact, the best way I've seen somebody doing it is remove the name and just have some facts which don't even let you guess who it is, and say, okay, let's say there is a posting to be done in Calcutta and you have got 20 candidates. You should know who's this candidate, where does he come from. Somebody should have done the spade work of giving you the data. And when you do that, you do neutrally so that you get the right candidate. Now, if you take three people, then you can go through individual things, whether they have a passionate reason to go and things like that. Just giving you an example, that don't first look at the name and then take a decision. First look at or focus on the credentials and then the name. The next thing that I would like to really talk about is, uh, when how do you build up these teams? How do you build up diverse teams? So one of the things that you do is you listen to understand, not to reply. Listen actively. Listen actively means that when a person is saying something, and wherever you get this feedback from, whether you're getting it directly in a conference or in a boardroom or a meeting, or you're getting it as a feedback, don't straight away, if you don't like it, doesn't go by what you feel, don't just reject it. The first thing is you must go into why is he saying it? Why? And why should it be? Three things. What is his problem? What is his challenge? Okay. Secondly, His challenge may be there. There are so many challenges he doesn't tell you. Why is he telling you that challenge? Why he is telling you means it is beyond his own solving, or it is beyond the immediate leader's action. So, why is he talking firstly? Then why is he talking to you? Why is the problem there? Why is he talking to you? And thirdly, please listen to this carefully, and very few people do it. Why has he approached you? Why has he approached you? Which means he trusts that you will have a solution. He trusts that you will be fair. Okay? So, why is he saying it? Where is it coming from? And what can you do about it? What is he expecting from you, and what can you do about it? It is not necessary that when you get a feedback, immediately respond to it. I feel a good leader should always take a little time, think about it, take a cool decision, consult your immediate advisors or whomever you trust, and then take a decision. In any case, I feel that if there is coming the point is coming from a very junior guy, at least his immediate superior, you must take him into confidence and say, this is what is the guy saying, what is his problem? Because you should not. I've seen some people doing it. For example, in the army, if a brigadier listens to a captain and gives a decision, it'll be suicidal, because he has not taken the company commander, the battalion commander under whom they are serving, even if it is against the battalion commander. He has to take him into confidence and say, this is what your officer is saying, what is this problem? And ultimately, really speaking, the problem should be solved by the battalion commander, not by the brigade commander. Similarly, if the CEO's got a point from somebody who's an assistant manager, the manager must be taken into confidence and asked, why is it happening? Otherwise, you may solve this person's problem, but you will create a distrust or a lack of dependence or whatever in the immediate superior, who thinks that he has been bypassed. Seen this happening in many companies. I've done the training of a few companies where this was a major issue. One company, I'm not naming, we were doing this training, and the CFO said, and he was talking about the owner who's a chairman, that, sir, he goes directly to my clerk and says, give me this statement from this date to this date. And then he studies that statement and then calls me and says, why is this happening? And I don't even know what's the context. So he says, what am I here for? I am the CFO. Why should he first not ask me rather than go and ask that clerk? And 2 months later, I rang up the CFO for something, and he says, sir, sorry, I left the company. I'm in another company now. Won't that CFO leave the company? Why? Why would he stay there if he's being bypassed? In the same company, one of the plant heads, he tells me, sir, साहब आते हैं और वो फ्लोर पे जाते हैं, and he has knowledge, no doubt. And he tells the machine man, तुम ये क्या कर रहे हो? And he says, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. बोला, ऐसे मत करो, ऐसे करो. And he walks off. No, you may get your feedback, but don't give instructions, don't give directions. The directions must only come from the plant head. So you could ring up the plant head and tell him, see, I saw this guy doing this. Would you tell him not to do that? So these are a couple of things. Now, another thing is, be an effective leader. And good leaders create more leaders. Good leaders pass on opportunities, encourage their team members, and bring up their teams together. And that happens only when you consider the diversity of your team. You could have different religions, you could have different languages speaking people, you may have different ideologies there. Please see that everyone gets an equal opportunity, and you are a great leader. The next thing I would say is, as a leader, when you want to create results and you want to be taking care of diversity, make sure that you don't accept mediocrity. Don't accept mediocrity, and particularly because she's a lady and she's doing this list, or because he's a South Indian and he doesn't know Hindi, he's doing that, or because he's a Punjabi, he's doing that. No, no, no. Please don't accept mediocrity, because performance has to be done overall together as everyone else. Okay. Uh, Very nice to see Amit Ranjan here today after a long time. Sorry, I can't read this. Okay, yeah, I've enlarged it. Yeah. Be open minded and understand the rationale and where the person is coming from. Very good, Amit. Amit is running a beautiful venture in South India, where uh, they are talking about uh, children learning robotics at the grassroots level. Amit, you may like to put a few words on what your company does, because I feel it's a very, very good initiative, and India needs it very badly. We should have actually by now been going very strong about it, but we have not. Because of COVID, there's been a lot of restrictions on these people. Hello, Ashwin, how are you? And who is this? Okay. I see Rashmi putting on a emoji, and I thought it was she was scaring me with something, but okay, it's a wow only. Thank God. Normally, I see a heart. Now I'm seeing looking something is looking little scary to me. Okay, Anil Goswami comes again. Diversity is a team with diverse talents uniting together with taking in confidence, empower each other. Okay, good. Uh, Good, good, good. Whatever you're saying is absolutely good. I was looking at more questions and I'm not finding any questions there. Okay, so let me just sum up by giving you a little idea about my army experience. And in the army, it was very nice. We learned this, I think, at the grassroots level, and that is why when in corporates people are not applying this, I wonder why they are not doing it. Because for us, it became a thing which we learned from childhood. At the age of 19, when I joined my battalion, I was learning diversity right there. Do you know, like the battalion I joined, half the troops were Adivasis from Bihar, because I am from second Bihar. Half the troops were North Biharis who come from Bihar as such, from Patna and Darbhanga and all those areas. And then there was another half of people who are Adivasis who come from Ranchi district and all that, the tribal areas. There was a vast difference between the two people, about their food habits, about their cultures, about their even the language and everything. And I'm telling you, I don't think anyone ever felt there was a problem. There was never a problem in the langar where food is being made. Nobody said that I want this food and I want that food. We went to the same. So all these Adivasis, they generally practice or follow Christianity, and the North Biharis would follow Hinduism. So we had a mandir, we had a church, and we would go to both. In those days, I remember on Sunday we used to first go to the church, and from the church we used to all go to the mandir. Later on, a new idea came up in the army, and all units started following it sooner or later. Was the idea of a dharamstal. And my wife was with me when we went to Panagarh a few years back for our Diamond Jubilee of To Bihar. And there was a beautiful function where in one hall, all of us were there. वहाँ पे मूर्ति पड़ी है, राम की भी है, सीता की भी है, क्राइस्ट की भी है, गुरु नानक की भी है. Although we didn't have any Sikhs, and maybe 2, 3, 4 of them, but they don't mind putting all religions, whatever they can get, to say we are praying to everyone together, right? And this particular function, the Panditji started, and the Padriji was standing right in front of him, right next to him. And then the moment he finished, then he started. So they were doing it together, like two MCs. Imagine what type of diversity we are handling, right? And we go to war with that diversity. So we build our teams right from the grassroots level, considering all that. Now, in a brigade, where we were there, for example, in Ramgarh, somewhere in, I'm talking of 1975, we had a Madras battalion and we had a Sikh battalion. Now, between this, you'll find Sikhs, South Indians, North Biharis, Adivasis, all together in one brigade, fighting a war together. That is the beauty. So, guys, good lesson to be learned from the army. If the army can do it, I think all others can do it too. Okay, so he says we are in the process of taking robotics to the grassroots level across India, and we are using uh, physical learning journey to reach out to the young teens. I'm aware of this, of course, and I wanted you to educate other people as well. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Okay, and Ravi Chandra, thank you for being there, Ravi. Kind of you. I've seen you for the first time. Bhavdeep, I've seen you after a very long time. How are you, Bhavdeep? Yeah. You have been such a good friend, and you've done my goal setting, goal management workshop. I think good about 8 to 10 years back. Thank you very much for being here today. Very happy to see you. Okay, so guys, I have finished with this, and I would like to know from you if there are any questions. And one question I have for you is, what are you going to do? Please write down in the comments, either now or later, on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, wherever you are. How would you, what actions are you taking, either in your organizations or as an individual, to build up your capability to be leading a diverse team? What are you doing about it? What do you plan to do about it? Okay. And like what Anil Goswami is saying, that we need to respect each other's showing up. Okay, Bharti, thank you, Bharti, for being there. Diversity is respecting each other's culture. Very good, very good. Okay, so yeah, so I was telling you that the question is, uh, what are you doing to prepare yourself to be leading a diverse team? And please write that. And I want to see who is the most. So we have already finished with April, and next Thursday, that is this Thursday, when I do the next LinkedIn Live, I will be announcing the winner of the April month, the most active participant, three of them who are using workbook. Let me show you an example right here. Okay, so this is a goal setting workbook of mine, Set It, Get It, and it is a beautifully designed workbook in which it helps you set your goals in a very systematic manner. And I will be giving it to three people every month. So we are finished with April now. This is the first session of May, and this is a good start point, and you have a good way of being active throughout the month and get this gift. Let me tell you, people you have used it, Bharti has used it, Bhavdeep has used it. If you can get this type of a, sorry, participate, so that we'll give you this book. Okay. Thank you very much. I have finished. If there are any more questions, otherwise, we will end the program now. Any other questions? Yeah. So I'll just wait for another minute or so, and if there are Ashwin says no questions. Okay. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Either you didn't find the subject interesting or you understand it so well that there are no questions. But we will certainly like to see more ideas, observations, comments so that we can continue with the effort of creating a much, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked it, please do inform your friends so that we can have more people coming in. And so Ashwin says, clear with what you said. And thank you for saying it is very insightful. I'm happy that you got some value, Ashwin. Hope to see you again every Monday, every Thursday, 5 p.m. I do this on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, that is a day later at 7 p.m., I do it on Instagram. Thank you very much. Bye bye and God bless. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay negative.